Hi, my name is Sammy Edwards and welcome to Mind the Gap. Today's episode is called Perfectionism is the Enemy. Perfectionism holds us back, it makes us hesitate, and it keeps us from making progress. And today I want to talk to you about why it can be a trap, how it affects both adults and kids, and what we can do better to embrace growth, consistency, and joy in our process. Now, of course, for myself with Mind the Gap, perfectionism was also my enemy. When I first started, I struggled with delayed audio, an unfocused camera, and small mistakes that could, of course, frustrate me. But the focus wasn't the frustration, it was the product and the progress. And I learned willingness and consistency matter far more than it being perfect. The more I focus on showing up, I improve naturally. But if I were to focus on that perfection, I would not have found that same improvement. And progress happens when you take action, not when you wait for things to be perfect. Now, as a coach, I see this same struggle with perfectionism often in my students and even their parents. Too many people are focused on an outcome, like a goal, but they're not focused on an output, like the effort that's given too. They want the end result, but they don't find joy in the process of getting better and improving and trying. The best way to truly improve is through patience and consistency, being patient with yourself and also being consistent with yourself. But when all your energy is spent on worrying about it being perfect and the top and the best, you don't appreciate the small wins that it takes to lead to growth. I tend to see this at every level, from young kids just trying to improve in a sport or school to college students and professionals at their highest level struggling to enjoy their craft. And it's because negativity and resistance are easy. It's far more easy to find yourself pushing back and saying why not than to push forward and say why too. But supporting others and bringing positive energy is what's rare. And I think this is why we see so many young people struggle with finding the best version of themselves and even putting in the effort to do so. And we need to understand that it doesn't make people weak to look for external validation. When external validation is hard to find, internal validation feels almost impossible. And especially for a young person that's not getting the example of what to do or how to do it. How are they going to find that? It's so easy to just keep telling young people, work harder, keep going, find the way. But if we don't support them along their journey and along that way, they're never going to find that outcome or that goal that they're looking for. We more need to focus on the inputs and taking the steps and making those steps feel valuable. Now, I often look at how parents shape a child's experience. And a lot of the time, it's a blessing to have your parents involved in your experience. But if they end up pushing back with something that's unhealthy for their child's mind, this is when we tend to see kids spiral and move into these emotional places and end up lacking their development on the field, but also off the field how they should. Sports don't just teach you how to be the best on the field, they teach you how to make better decisions. They teach you how to be a better teammate. They teach you how to work with other people. And if this is what we are failing at, we are not taking any of the value that we should. Some of the time, I'll ask my students what their relationship is like with their parents. I don't ask this from an emotional standpoint. I'm more asking, what do your parents say to you? How does it make you feel? Does it make you want to give more effort? Does it move you in the right direction? And over, I'll hear the same thing. Kids don't enjoy the process because their parents don't enjoy the process. And this creates an impossible dilemma. Things that should feel fun and natural become high pressure, challenging, and even exhausting. And parents often mean well, but sometimes a kid doesn't need another coach. They just need a fan. We're not looking to get into a car after the game and be broken down and hear about everything that we did wrong. Sometimes we just want to know that the effort that we gave was enough because we know that we need to improve. But sometimes we just need the support and we need the example of how I should be talking to myself and how I should feel after the game. Now, one of the most helpful things that I can do is help a parent shift their perspective. When I can, I work parents to redefine success. Sometimes I ask the parents to share their notes and feedback directly with me first. That way, we have a direct line of communication without overwhelming the student. But other times, parents hold on to too much control, and I see their relationships suffer because of it. Even worse, I see the kids start to withdraw and put in less effort. Now, let's be real. Yes, there are some students who are wired differently. They love the hard work, don't need validation, and push themselves naturally. But for most kids, they need an environment that is not just challenging, but it's also fun, engaging, and encouraging. Because in a world where validation is so easy to find elsewhere, they'll stop trying if it feels like they can never win. And secret, everyone's wins are differently defined. And so, as you're working with these students, you have to find out how they define success. What is it that they see in their head? And how can we both merge our visions to find the best common output? This will allow kids the opportunity to discover who they are, not to be pigeonholed into ways that they should define themselves. Too many young students feel trapped by expectations. Instead of exploring what they like, they're pushed into an identity before they can even figure out who they are. I had one student who loved sports and appreciated the opportunity to play, but he wasn't having fun during games. Instead of feeling limitless and powerful on the field, his mental energy was spent trying to tune out his parents' sideline criticism. Think about that. The place where he should feel the strongest was the place where he felt most powerless. And so it was up to me to find a new approach for this student struggling with negativity. When I noticed this pattern, I had to step back and think, why is his internal dialogue so negative? Where is this pressure coming from? I knew that he needed an outlet and somewhere that he could just be himself. He was young, thoughtful, funny, and aggressive, but he needed a space to express all of these in a positive way. When I saw the student struggling so deeply with negativity, I understood that I needed to step back, think, and find us a new approach. And so the questions that I asked myself were, why is his internal dialogue so negative? Where is this pressure coming from? And I quickly came to find that I knew he needed an outlet, somewhere that he could just be himself. This was a young man that is already smart, young, thoughtful, funny, and aggressive. But he needed a space where he could express all of these in a positive way. So I decided to have him join me in the online game Apex Legends. Side note, I love Apex Legends. It's the only game that I play. I need new teammates. Hit me up if you want to drop in. Now, within the first 2 weeks of us playing, I saw a true transformation. He wasn't just able to catch up to my skill level and play the same ranked as I was. He developed a new mindset about teamwork, communication, and self control. And this was all through finding something that he enjoyed but allowing it to not feel like work for him and allowing him to find his own lessons and his own flow. And through the developments that he's already made in a short time, like you would guess, he was able to take these just from the game and start to express them in his own life, back into the classroom, back onto the field, and back into that relationship with his parents. The takeaway, you don't build people by tearing them down. If you have someone in your life that you love and that you want more from, figure out what they like, listen to them, make it fun, and set the best example of yourself that you can. Who are we to tell people that they need to work harder when we're not doing the work? Who are we to tell people, go hit the gym when we ourselves are not hitting the gym? When you meet people where they are and validate their efforts, this is when they're truly able to start growing. I like to call this matching and mirroring. Match someone, find where they are at, and mirror them to where you want them to be. Perfection is the enemy. It stops us before we even start. The goal is not to be flawless, the goal is to keep improving, to keep showing up, and to make the process more enjoyable. Whether it's coaching, parenting, or your own personal growth, the key is consistency, patience, and learning to appreciate your journey. Thank you for tuning in to Mind the Gap. I'll see you next time.